All right, we've got Coach Bielema, we've got Josh McCray, we've got Matt Bailey. We'll let you all get settled. Josh McCray, of course, MVP of today's game. Brought his belt with him just to show it off. Coach B, if you can start us off with an opening statement, then we'll take questions from the room. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. And with that, we'll let you take it away. Thank you, Coach.
Yesterday I was talking to the TV crew about our game, and they asked me, Coach, what was the thing that made this team special, right? And I said it's kind of just a kind of a secret sauce that I felt really since last January to where we are today. We have 120 guys that started the season on our roster. We had a group of coaches, support staff, a lot of people that walk in the building every day in the Smith Center. We have an administration around us in the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics at Illinois that cares about our place at an unprecedented level. And it's all of those little stories. These guys right next to me, two incredible stories and journeys in their own right, to get to where they are today. And today is kind of a culmination of all those things. So very excited for our fans to be able to come down here. There was a lot of them. I went to that pep rally yesterday, and I'm like, holy Toledo. I knew people loved to come to Florida in January, but or December, this is pretty live. Give credit to South Carolina, Coach Beamer, obviously an incredible football team, a 9-win team that was on the verge of 10 wins as well. But to get 10 wins for us, to be the 5th team in program history, is something very, very special. I'm excited and honored to be a part of this one. But both these guys know that we have a chance to do something very special in the future. We wanted to be sustainable success, and this was the culmination of 2024, but it was really the start of 2025. So happy New Year, and let's roll.
All right, we'll start with questions here in the front row. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a couple more here in the front row as well.
This is for both Bret and Josh. Bret, you've made it known Josh is your first high school recruit, and now 4 years later is MVP of the Citrus Bowl, 10 wins. What's that mean to you to see that kind of play out? And then Josh, what is his belief in you meant to help get to this point?
I think I'm an excellent evaluator. But we had a connection with a coach that I'd been with previously at the University of Wisconsin. That's what connected us. And then we really just started to talk and figure things out. I know some people were trying to recruit him as a defensive player. I saw his tape. I said, tell him he's a running back, and that's what we got to ourselves this day. But you guys have interviewed him. You understand him. I love his humility. I love his passion. He cares about people in a very special and unique way, and he never looks for outward excuses or anything, but just works hard, does a lot of really good things to make these days happen, and I'm super excited for him.
All right, we're going to go over here to the far left, and then we'll come back to the front row.
Well, can we have Josh got an answer?
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I'll definitely say I'll add on to that. So Coach B had called my head coach, Coach Kennedy, and that's who he's talking about when he say he got a close relationship. So Jed Kennedy, that's my guy, But other than that, I mean, the relationship just came from the first call whenever he said I could play running back, because I did not want to play defense in D1, no.
I think I fell in love with him because everybody wants a big commitment graphic, and he wanted a welding graphic with a welding mask. I said, this is my kind of guy.
All right, now we'll go second row or third row on the left, and then we'll come back to the first row.
Hi, Bret. Alex Walker with Channel 9 in Orlando. You win this game in 2006 and win it again 18 years later now. Is it nostalgic to do it again in a different chapter of your career with this group?
Yeah, it's just, I think anytime you have a journey with people, one of the things I commonly do in our recruiting weekends is I have a graphic of all the rings that I've amassed as a coach, right, as a player and a coach. And I show a ring that I got in 1990 as a Rose Bowl ring, and then show a Super Bowl ring in 2018. And, each one of those stories are independent moments, right, in your coaching career. It's the stories with these guys that make it special and unique, right? In 2006, I think my now wife was at the game with maybe a old boyfriend, and we hadn't even met yet. And to come full circle now, to come here married with 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife, it's just to come back. Steve Hogan in his bowl game, they put an unbelievable show together from day one in 2006 to where we are today. Our bowl hosts and Pat and Karen, and just so many great things. It's been an awesome weekend for all of us.
All right, we'll go front row here and then directly behind you.
Bret, obviously this is a moment to savor, and I know you are, but you kept saying this is a catapult to next year. How do you guys do that, and how important is that to just flip the mindset right away?
Every year is a little bit different feel or a little different mojo, just different chemistry, right? Take these 2 guys, for example, right? Like, Matt came in and I had a feeling he was going to be a pretty special player, but had tremendous success that first year, kind of in a reserve role, played a lot of special packages for us, scored a touchdown on special teams. And then that next year, he literally, has a shoulder injury on the very first play of the game that he was in, and he had to battle through an entire year of recovery to get to where he is today. I think just a great microcosm of his story, his journey over the last couple of years. And Josh really had 2 years back-to-back, kind of cut short due to injuries, and the perseverance to not lose sight. Both these guys have done an incredible job in the weight room, or in the academic room as well. So it's all those little things that make this place so special. We have lost, some guys in the portal, but nobody that we were surprised with. I think this group really sticks together. They play together. They understand it. We understand what's going on in college football, but it's the joy of the time that we have together, and also the things we can achieve.
All right, we're going to go to the aisle, and then right next to you across the aisle.
All right, Brett, earlier this week, Aaron was talking about how much pride he takes in, not focusing on landing 4-star and 5-star guys and developing 1-star, 2-star, 3-star guys. So my question to you is, what is the key to development? Like someone like Spoon would be a great guy.
Yeah.
He ended up top 5 pick, and he wasn't highly rated. So is it execution? Is it like fundamentals? Like, how do you bring those guys along?
I'll let these guys answer it, right? But we have this DNA philosophy in our program called TSD, Tough, Smart, Dependable, and I kind of recruit to it. I hire staff to it. It's something we live in our program every day. Toughness, smart, and dependable are really nothing nothing has to do with how fast you are, how high you can jump, how far you can throw a football, how well you can run with a football, how well you can tackle. It's about how you live. And these guys are great examples, but I think we always kind of go back to our core principles. I don't know, what these guys' stars were coming in. I talk about the stars going out, right? And I think that's the part that I don't really care what other people think. I do care a lot about what I think and my coaches think, and that's what we kind of drive as the reason for our success. And I think more and more people are beginning to understand and hear that. We literally have programs that follow us in recruiting, and if we offer a kid, they'll literally get an offer within the next 24 hours from people that follow us. I stopped following certain recruits before they commit because I don't want to tip off people who we recruit. So Matt Bailey, I think we offered him 2 days or 3 days before signing date. I knew I was going to offer him for about a month, but I didn't tell anybody else because I didn't want anybody else to come try and grab him. So I was able to tell him and his mom in my office. I told Josh about his offer, and he took it right away. And these are the stories that make us great.
Brett, hi. Two-part question, and the parts have really nothing to do with each other. Over here, little guy over here.
Yeah, sorry.
First is, I just want to know how it makes you feel yourself to be, you're coming up on 55, to be on a stage like this in a New Year's game and to win, how gratifying it is for you personally. And part two is Shane Beamer was very detailed in describing what he didn't like about your gesture during the game. I want to ask for your version as specifically as you'll tell it.
Well, first off, I'm only 55. I got 12 more days at 54, so I'm going to embrace all of those. Plus, my wife's the day before my birthday. So I think this is fulfilling because the part that I have enjoyed now more as a coach, and when Josh gave me this opportunity, Chancellor Jones there today, when I was relieved of my last college coaching job, I knew that I wanted to prove what I could do, right? And I want to do it my way. I want to do it in a way with a group of people that I thought could do things. And now to do this and to have a 10-win season, and at Illinois, we often get, well, we haven't ever done this, or they want to go back to certain times. And I always say, that's great, let's turn the page, let's move forward. And I think today is a big step in that direction. I don't know exactly about the other thing. I know the only thing that I did was there's a unwritten philosophy in coaching that when you do this as a college kickoff return guy, what you're doing is you're telling everybody else that it's going to be a fair catch and it's going to be dead in the end zone when the ball lands. The reason we do that, and I first got aware of it, was in the NFL, was kickoff and kickoff return is the highest percentage of injury in the sport. So one of the things that coaches began to do was that everybody out of respect started T-barring. I think these guys would tell you everybody does that. I've never seen it any other way. It's not an official. There's nothing illegal. They didn't do anything illegal. But it put us, I think, in a position that we now, the ethic of what that is, got evaporated there, because our kids stop. So when you're a kickoff return unit, right, if I'm running at you and the kickoff return is back there, the guy blocking me, he doesn't know what's going on, so he's going to begin to engage you. And when you see somebody do that before the whistles are blown, you can stop, decelerate, and you don't have these massive collisions. Listen, I love Shane. He's a good person. I know somebody said that he thought I did it to him. I did it their whole damn sideline. I wasn't going personally at him. I did it their whole sideline. I just wanted them to understand that I know what just happened. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong. I just have never seen it done in any level of football, college or pro. That's it.
All right, we'll take two here in the first row on the right.
Back to the motivation thing you were talking about earlier. preseason you were picked 13th in the Big Ten. Hey, did you mention that? Do you know that? Did you mention the guys, and how do they react to that? How does it make you feel to obviously overcome that?
13th year or
13th?
13th?
13th as a team in the Big Ten. There's 18 now.
I think we were talking earlier this week. One of the things I do harp on these guys about is like when you come in the building, before you come in there, there's a lot of things that have already happened that you don't even have to worry about. We're putting them in a position to have success from the way that we walk, talk, train, eat, sleep, suggest, right? I always tell these guys that they're going to make more decisions out of the building that are going to affect all of us than in the building, right? And just get them to understand that. I don't want to bed check these guys or put them through, but if a team needs curfew, then I think you have a team that's going to have problems, right? So we really don't have a lot of rules in our building. I did say to these guys the other day, like, I think there was one guy in the room that, a lot of these guys in the room, this is their first bowl game. There's a couple of them that was their second, and 2 or 3 guys, this is their third. And I said, well, great, congratulations, this is my 17th. So just listen to what I have to tell you, right? And I don't say that often, but I think everybody was kind of like laughing because they're like, oh shit, he probably doesn't know what he's doing. So I don't say I do everything right, but I do want to, I appreciate these guys. They kind of unwrittenly, without any hesitation, kind of just believe in what we're doing, don't ask a lot of questions.
Wanted to ask 2 questions, one for Bret and one for Josh about barge today. We got a re-education on barge package today, and everybody talked about South Carolina's front, Bret. And what did you think that the barge package and specifically your run game would be successful today?
Well, you guys know, the Penn State game a couple of years ago. I thought, we just had a lot of big people, and sometimes to neutralize some athleticism, some movement. When you get bigger people don't move and they don't pressure. So I thought it'd be a way to calm them down a little bit. Sometimes people don't know how to align at it, and like you saw Josh's first touchdown run. He just saw the vision. A lot of times there's big holes. Him and Aiden both, I think, are really good at those type of runs. They see things vertically and do it. But I think Josh, he really took a liking to it there during the course of the day.
I was going to ask Josh, 3 years ago, we saw the birth of the barge package with you and Chase at Penn State. As a running back, what do you think about when you've got 9 offensive linemen in front of you? And it's
I love having 9 offensive linemen on the field. I mean, just having blockers up front that's going to do their job each and every play, man, I mean, that's a blessing. And also just being behind the quarterback. I mean, I love being behind the quarterback, but I also love being inside court too,
It's funny, they had a corner that when they're lined up like that, we don't have any wideouts, so a corner's out there, he's like, I don't even know how to line up, right? And he doesn't really line up, he doesn't like lining up on big people. Usually little people don't like lining up on big people in those moments, so that was kind of a fun one for us.
All right, we're going to go to the third row on the left, then we're going to come down for 2 in the front row here.
This can be for Coach or any of you 3 up there, but earlier this year I talked to T-Rod Edwards, and he says that one of the best things about this team was just everybody tells each other to just be happy and to just be positive. How has that positivity and that optimism translated into your guys' success, especially today with this bowl game?
Yeah, so I think the movement into expecting to win and having that success, it allows us all to come together and trust each other more. Like when things are high and having that happiness and that joy, it helps everybody keep it up. And even when we go into those depths or into those valleys, when things are rough, we still have that mindset that like I've got your back, you got my back, and then we gonna go in this together. You know what I'm saying?
There was a moment this year at the Nebraska game, I believe it was at halftime. Maybe it was Michigan too, that I heard this guy's voice, like enforcing some things at halftime about what we needed to do better. So there's also tough love in there too, right? It's not all marshmallows, kumbayas, and firefights, right? Like we got to have moments where we get after one another and try to get the best out of one another at the high level. And I think when there's love and respect, that goes a long way.
Yeah, Matthew, seems like you're coming downhill in the front here, coming downhill quite a bit today with a lot of plays developing right in front of you. Was there something about the game plan or the scheme or the opponent that kind of puts you in position to make the plays?
Yeah, so we definitely switched up the game plan for this game with all the time that we had to plan for it. And so it kind of just put me in that role to be kind of a middle safety about 10, 12 yards off and just kind of play the run, play the pass, and just react to whatever happens. And I personally love that position and hope it happens moving forward. But yeah.
I would say he's just said something that I think people understand in our building. The time that we had to prep, I said this has to be our advantage, right? We had 3 weeks of preparation, and we really designed our prep to take advantage of early downs. 75% of the game is early downs, and we only did early downs for the entire first week. A lot of people don't understand what that means, but I wanted these guys to lock into first down and second down success and nothing else, because we can't get to third down on defense, and we definitely can't help ourselves get to third down on offense unless we have early down success. That was one of our keys. So to put Matt, I tell you, Aaron Henry and the defensive staff did an incredible job of game planning, and I would tell you Barry Lunny offensively, Robbie Disher in the back end, special teams wise, really just a very, very special game plan here, and the results are what you saw. On game day, I get to do all the other stuff. I can kind of manage, apparently piss off an entire sideline and half the stadium, but like there's parts to my job, right, that I just really enjoy because I know I don't have to overcoach other positions. It's really a fun job as a head coach.
All right, we'll go to Zane on the far left, and then Jackson here on the aisle, and then we'll take one more.
Sure, this can be for any of you three. I just kind of wanted to know, when did the momentum turn in the second half, just considering that it kind of was a defensive slugfest in the first half, and you guys had a little bit of trouble getting some stuff going, and you may have had a touchdown that probably should have been a touchdown that wasn't, so just kind of take me through that sequence.
Yeah, so I think it really started with the big old event. I think like it got everybody juiced up on our sideline for sure. But to your point about how the game was like played and how early on it was a defensive game, I think that later on, like obviously we could have done things better on defense, but just playing like situational football and the offense having our back and us having the offensive back, it just allows us all to play more free, and I think that's what helped us win today.
Yeah, and Coach, you have one of the youngest rosters in the FBS with only 14 guys, in their final year of eligibility. Talk about what that means with that turnover. Also, winning 10 games with such a young team. Talk about how you guys were able to get that done.
I think it goes to our recruitment, our development of players. Both of these guys actually truly have redshirt years. They played as true freshmen. So we have a lot of guys come in and play early for us, and they're playing their best football at the end of the year. But they're also playing the best football at the end of their career. These guys both have an incredibly bright future ahead of them in their next year. I knew last year and during the prep work to get ready for the fall, I'm like, man, we don't have many seniors, right? And then I saw an article that someone wrote that we were the youngest team in Power 4 football, and I just, we have so many sophomores and juniors. We're really a sophomore-driven football team. We're a very smart football team. Anytime you have your quarterback coming back, there's a lot of great things to that, because I think even Matt would tell you that I think our defense feeds off of Luke Altmaier and the confidence that we have in our offense. I made a decision at halftime to run a bunt kick at the start of the second half, and the only reason I did that is I had an unbelievable amount of confidence in our defense. We executed. It's perfect. It just, unfortunately, we weren't able to bounce. The ball bounces weird at some times, the only reason I had that is because I knew our defense had just played really well at the end of the half, and they went out and answered the bell right away. So, yeah, as a head coach, it allows you to play the game a lot more aggressively, knowing those things, and then case in point, the dagger from Josh here at the end of the game, and then the awareness. A lot of guys would have just taken to the end zone, and they would have had a chance to get it. He knew we were in grind to get down, and that decision that he had in the middle of that run was absolutely one of the smartest things that happened this year.
All right, we'll take one second row on the aisle, and then we've got time for a couple more if there's a show of hands. We'll take one there.
Josh, hi. Going to ask you to be honest. Did you fumble that? Did you feel like you were losing that ball? What happened? And Bret, did you hear anything from upstairs about it?
I would definitely say I did not fumble the ball, but I mean, we're going to watch that on tape. We're going to watch it a lot of times, but I definitely did not fumble, I feel like, but it did get kind of loose at the end. I'll definitely say whenever I went to the ground, but that's the only time it got loose.
Well, I think it's a testament to Josh, right? Like, I know he says he didn't fumble, and I believe my players, like, one of the reasons I was going to challenge it is because he was telling me he didn't fumble. One of the things we always talk about in challenges, we all want to be successful, but only tell me the truth, right? And Josh was adamant, so I was really pressing those guys. I was going to challenge it, but there was a timeout, and the ref, who's a Big 12 official, Kevin, when he said, Coach, you can challenge it, but it'll be literally the quickest challenge in the history of college football. So I said, okay, I don't need to be obstinate here. Let's just take the defensive stand and see where we go. But I believe there's no fumble.
All right, we'll do two more, one here on the left side of the aisle and then one on the right.
Bret, Josh gave you the third chance to come back here, and second chance in the Big Ten. 4 years later, Citrus Bowl with him on stage there. What's that relationship meant, and what's made that relationship work to where you're leading Illinois to this success?
You know, it didn't take me very long to figure out. The first time we met was through Zoom, right? Like we'd actually bumped into each other a long time ago in Phoenix at a coffee shop at a Fiesta event. But when he called me, I guess when I got the call from Illinois, I'd obviously done my research on Josh, and I knew that as an athletic director, that's a former player, and especially at his alma mater, like you got something special. I was very fortunate in my first head coaching job with Coach Alvarez to have a former football player as an AD. And I just thought that was the norm, right? And I quickly realized it wasn't when that didn't exist. But like Josh, love and appreciation for the University of Illinois is an unprecedented level, but also just at football because he played it, walked it, talked it. You know, I think the growth that we've had during my time here, I told him early on, I'm not going to ask for the fanciest uniforms. I'm not going to ask for the flashiest things, but I am going to ask that our guys get fueled, protected, and developed unlimited budget-wise, right, and the things that I believe are important to build players, and he's been great about that. And then, you know, to Chancellor Jones, I know he was excited on stage today. He's the one that ultimately had to sign off on to do it, right, to have him go out. I know we'd rather have him stay with us a long time, but he's moving on to the next chapter in his world, and there's so many other precedented things. So many support staff. Roger Denny's in here. Roger has been an incredible asset to our program. We actually has in our building every day. What Josh has acquired and accumulated in the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics with Brad Underwood, Shauna, and other coaches, the way our football, basketball, women's basketball, and all these other programs are playing, it just hasn't happened in college athletics, and it's all the credit in the world to him and the people around him.
All right, Kyle, take us home.
Josh, over here. Josh, first of all, congratulations on getting the player of the game. Just want to get your feelings, first of all, on, you know, in a situation, no offense to Luke, but in a situation you just see the quarterback getting the players of the game. How cool is it that they gave it to you, a running back? And then how do you feel like the offense played today overall, especially without Pat?
I feel like we gelled very well, especially in the second half. I felt like we was able to move the ball how we really wanted to. In the first half, we couldn't really get things going. I mean, I went out there, lost the ball on like the second drive of the game. I mean, so I was kind of like pretty hard on myself. But I mean, them boys, they kept me up in there, kept my head on right, and then we just got the job done. But for a running back to get MVP, I mean, you don't really see that a lot. But I mean, that's pretty awesome to me in my world.
Especially when you got to bounce back after, you know, whatever happened.
Yeah, the fumble. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate your time,
Appreciate
and congratulations on the win.
Happy New Year.